Welcome to another episode of Learn from People Who Lived It.
My name is Donna Lowney. I'm 58 years old.
What story are you here to share?
I'm here to share the journey that I have taken with anxiety in my pocket. I'm a person who has suffered lifelong anxiety and panic disorder. The things that I'd like to share are things that have worked for me, things that have frightened me, things that I continue after 40 years to deal with, and the journey then that changed a little as my daughter started hers.
Who do you hope hears this?
I hope anybody who needs to hear it hears it. I hope anybody who is feeling like they are the only one out there who feels anxious about things that don't make sense, that they love, that they don't understand. I hope they hear it and realize that it's not you. You're perfect. You're the person you're meant to be. You are just living with something that you need to get to know, get familiar with, and learn how to make it work for you.
She was 12 years old when she remembers suffering her first bit of anxiety. Wait till we talk about x-rays. Now she's a mom, which didn't come without its own difficulties. And now her own daughter has her struggles too. Therapy, medicine. Let's lay it all out on the line today with Donna. Hi, Donna. Welcome to our podcast.
Hi, Matthew. Thank you so much.
As you would expect, Dr. Frank Bavacqua is joining us on this podcast as well. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
All right, well, let's jump right into it. Anxiety is a word that I think we could all three agree. A lot of people are throwing that word around right now. It's starting to get a lot of attention and probably starting to get its due attention because it's a thing that a lot of people have been living with for a long time, yourself included. Donna, when you talk about being 12, when you remember kind of this all bubbling up, we've been starting every podcast with people's 0 to 10. And so can you give me an idea, a little bit of a look into your life, what it's like for you as a little girl in terms of family, birth order, mom, dad, that kind of a vibe?
Sure. I was born into an Italian Catholic family in New York City. Very noisy, as you can imagine. Grandparents, relatives, always over. A very loving home. I'm the oldest of three daughters. We are within 5 years of each other. My mom was a speech pathologist and teacher. My dad was an FBI agent. And we moved a couple of times in my very young life up until kindergarten as my dad graduated from the academy and got his first postings and settled in a suburb of Chicago, Park Forest, Illinois, where we lived until I was about 15. At that time, we were all, stay-at-home mom, very involved in brownies and Girl Scouts and gymnastics and dance lessons and music lessons and just the kind of stuff that very middle-class families did in Park Forest, Illinois in the 70s.
Do you look back in your childhood pretty fondly?
I do. When I was getting my master's, I had to take a class about adolescent psychology, abnormal psychology in adolescence. And we had to kind of write our life stories from a childhood perspective. And I realized that I was very different from other people, which was weird because I thought our family was very much the norm. There was no abuse. There was no drug abuse or alcohol abuse of any kind. That doesn't mean that people didn't go to parties and have drinks, but there is no disease of alcoholism or addiction in my family history. There are no major health issues in my family. Everybody's pretty healthy. There was no verbal, emotional, or physical abuse that I remember being exposed to. My parents again, being from the East and being largely Italian, you know, if they argued loudly, but it was never one of those things where we were afraid. It was always, um, they ended it with a kiss and moved on. We just, I kind of wrote a letter to my mom at that time and said I had no idea how good we had it.
We have 3 goals with Learn from People who lived it. 1. To help you feel less alone. 2. Encourage you to seek out a coach, a therapist, a church, anyone who can help you get through your journey and find some healing. 3. When you're ready, share your story with us.